Kemi Badenoch is vibrant and charismatic, answers questions clearly and to the point, and is a strong political figure. She has indicated her stance on so many things clearly. Let us have a look at a few of them. 1. Going against net zero. Kemi Badenoch has expressed skepticism about the UK's current net zero strategy, arguing that the transition must be realistic and not economically damaging. She often frames it as a balance between environmental responsibility and economic pragmatism. Her position tends to resonate with those who feel that aggressive green policies risk increasing energy costs and undermining competitiveness. 2. Going against the woke agenda. Badenoch has been one of the most vocal critics of what she terms the woke agenda, particularly in education, diversity training, and public institutions. She positions herself as a defender of free speech and traditional British values, opposing what she views as ideological overreach by progressive movements, especially around race, gender, and identity politics. Supporters say she brings needed balance and pushes back against dogma. 3. Going against the ECHR. Badenoch has supported the idea of reforming or even leaving the European Convention on Human Rights, ECHR, if it obstructs UK sovereignty, particularly around immigration and deportation policy. This reflects a wider frustration within parts of the Conservative Party over rulings that have blocked UK government decisions, especially those related to Rwanda asylum plans. She frames the ECHR as outdated or overreaching, clashing with national interest. 4. Reversing the farmers' inheritance tax relief. Kemi Badenoch has voiced support for reviewing or reversing changes to agricultural property relief, APR, and business property relief, BPR, key components of inheritance tax policy that currently help farmers pass land and assets to the next generation without a crippling tax bill. These reliefs are essential to keeping family-run farms viable. With all these and much more, one would think all the Tories would embrace her and offer her full support as she redirects the party. She inherited a declining party from her predecessor, and she should be given a chance to succeed now that she is in charge. Sadly, not all Tory members are fully behind her. One of the greatest strengths of the Conservatives is political infighting and endless plots to oust a leader. They removed Theresa May and brought on Johnson, then removed Johnson and brought on Liz Truss, then removed Liz Truss and brought on Rishi Sunak, then removed Rishi Sunak and brought on Kemi Badenoch. With what happened at the last election, one would think the Tories would rally and throw their full support behind her, right? If you think that way, you would be wrong. There are allegations that there are advanced plans underway to oust her. Top Tories are allegedly plotting to oust Kemi Badenoch in a secret bid to bring back Boris Johnson as Conservative leader. Let us look at the reasons why they are allegedly plotting to remove Kemi Badenoch. 1. The crisis within the Conservative Party. Since Kemi Badenoch became leader of the Conservative Party, the Tories have experienced record-low polling in some polls. However, many have questions about the credibility of some of these polls. These polls have created a vacuum that Boris Johnson's allies see as an opportunity. But wait a minute, Kemi inherited a declining party. So many people have lost trust in the party due to acts of people like Boris Johnson and Liz Truss. She is doing her best to restore trust in the Tory party, and she is not being given a space to do her job, 7 months into it. The problem she is battling with was created over 15 years ago. All of a sudden, she is now expected to solve a 15-year problem magically within 7 months, including the political mess that Boris Johnson created. Many Tory members have resented the idea of changing leaders rashly. 2. The Boris Johnson faction still alive. Despite his resignation and ongoing controversies, Boris Johnson remains popular with a segment of conservative voters and MPs, especially those in red wall constituencies who credit him for the 2019 landslide victory. A network of pro-Johnson MPs, donors, and strategists has reportedly remained active, waiting for a moment of political vulnerability to reintroduce him as the party's only hope of survival before the next general election. Key figures in this network include Nardine Dorries, former Culture Secretary, a vocal Johnson loyalist; Lord Cruddas, a major conservative donor; certain backbench MPs frustrated by Badenoch's leadership. Not all Tories are sold on the idea of Boris Johnson coming back. Many have classified this move as foolish, and the wisdom in this direction is severely diluted. 3. Secret meetings and strategy sessions. According to recent reports from The Sun, confidential strategy meetings have taken place at private residences and exclusive clubs in London, where Johnson supporters have discussed triggering a vote of no confidence in Badenoch, coordinating media pressure to undermine her public standing, gauging donor and party base appetite for Johnson's return. Watch these clips to see how they are allegedly undermining her leadership and public standing.
A whole can of worms for yourself, and it's much easier just to say, no chance.
And this story as well, which I know you've taken a big interest in, she's a goner, says Dominic Cummings. Who's he talking about? Kemi Badenoch. By the end of the year, he says.
I mean, so he says, and obviously take what Dominic Cummings says with a pinch of salt, but he's often right on these things, and he does have his finger on the pulse of sort of conservative politics, certainly on the right of the political spectrum.
Would a heavy defeat of the Conservatives in the May local elections lead to the ousting of Kemi Badenoch as their leader? And if so, would she be succeeded by a more moderate candidate or a right-wing hardliner? Andrew, take it away first.
She is stubborn, she is proud, she is tough, so she's not going to go easily.
Well, James, we've had the whispers and the rumours that manoeuvres are underway to find a way of ousting Kemi Badenoch, although when you ask MPs on the record, they of course strenuously deny it. Always the dark and bad side, as you and I both know. And then we've got whispers that Boris Johnson has supposedly been reaching and whispering out to see what the view is about him coming back. But then
I'd be very hard pressed, and I'm somebody who, like you, follows this stuff fairly closely. I can't really think of anything that she has said or done that has made a lasting positive impression upon me.
Let me ask you more bluntly and to be more outspoken. Do you think she's going to be here at the time of the next election?
I think Kemi Badenoch, as many are now saying, is not up to the job. I've got a couple of quotes from dismayed backbenchers, senior MPs apparently. One was, these results were actually worse than last year's general election. We have somehow gone backwards. Another one said, we just cannot continue as we are, and she is just not up to the task. I mean,
what went wrong for Kemi Badenoch? The Tories are growing impatient with their leader, aren't they? Reform's overtaken them in the polls. There's been a lot of talk about the prospect of either Robert Jenrick or James Cleverly swooping in to become leader. But I want to bring our attention to something from our columnist, former Conservative MP and Justice Secretary David Gauke. He says there is a third name also being uttered in Tory circles: Boris Johnson.
There is still this pressure on Kemi Badenoch, criticism that she's not moving fast enough, she's not sort of setting the world on fire, she's not moving in the right direction.
Some are reportedly lobbying Tory MPs behind closed doors, testing whether enough signatures could be gathered to force a leadership contest. If these allegations were true, can you see that some people's gift in the Tory is to cause chaos? Allegedly, these pro-Johnson MPs are antagonizing other MPs against Kemi Badenoch. At this stage, if the Tories cannot allow a stable leadership, it will be the final nail in the coffin for them. 4. The anyone but Kemi sentiment. The campaign isn't just about restoring Boris, it's also a rejection of Badenoch herself. Former allies have turned cold. Dorries has openly accused Badenoch of plotting to bring down Boris during the Partygate scandal and has called her not ready to lead. Some conservative strategists believe her focus on culture war issues has alienated mainstream voters. Others in the party, frustrated by the leadership vacuum, simply want a recognizable figure who can hold the party together and take on Labour and Reform UK, Boris being their top candidate. Allegedly, these Boris Johnson supporters, like Dories, are gleaning for whatever they can get to throw at Kemi Badenoch and hope it sticks. 5. Resistance from within the party. Not all Conservatives support the idea of Boris returning. Moderate MPs and former cabinet ministers argue that a Boris comeback would further damage the party's credibility. Ethics concerns remain over his handling of Partygate, COVID contracts, and his post office lobbying. Some believe the public would see a leadership reversal as chaos or desperation. A Johnson return could deepen the party's divide, but for those already disillusioned, it's a risk they're willing to take. 6. Public and media messaging. The pro-Johnson faction is testing public sentiment subtly, leaking stories about the party's electoral weakness, highlighting Badenoch's perceived gaffes, promoting Johnson's record on Brexit, vaccines, and red wall victories. Some sympathetic columnists are calling for a return to a proven winner before the next general election. Pro-Johnson media and supporters are trumpeting this idea of Johnson with some poll results that many have called garage-manufactured polls. 7. What happens next? To replace Badenoch, a vote of no confidence by Conservative MPs would be required. This would need 15% of MPs to submit letters to the 1922 committee if rules remain the same. Alternatively, intense internal and media pressure could force Badenoch to step down voluntarily, especially if donors and key MPs withdraw support. A leadership contest could follow, in which Johnson would likely run against other figures like James Cleverly or Suella Braverman. But Johnson's presence alone would overshadow other candidates. 8. The risk for the Conservative Party. While some Tories believe Boris Johnson is the only one who can save them from electoral collapse, others fear that bringing him back would reignite scandals that have damaged the party's image, alienate centrist voters, undermine any sense of stability or direction. Yet with Badenoch's leadership under growing scrutiny and public opinion rapidly shifting, the temptation to go back to a known force, however chaotic, remains strong among Johnson's allies. In summary, top Conservatives frustrated with Kemi Badenoch are allegedly working behind the scenes to force her out and reinstate Boris Johnson as party leader. The plan hinges on discrediting her leadership, reviving Johnson's public appeal, and engineering a leadership contest, though such a move risks dividing the party even further. Whether this bid succeeds or not, it underscores the deep fractures and desperation now defining the Conservative Party in its post-Johnson era. Many have tagged this as a new Tory plunging into a new low of desperation.